Welcome. I'm glad that you've joined me today. Every experience begins with a thought, and our experience changes when we change that thought. In this series, we will focus on the thoughts and emotions relating to special meridian points located along the sides of the spine and corresponding to the vertebrae. They are called the Huatojiaji points, and each point connects to specific areas of your body and nervous system. We will be working on opening the Huatojiaji points along the spine to increase qi flow and activation of the nervous system, so your body has access to the life force and information it needs to heal itself. I will help you do this through Qigong healing and the use of forgiveness and affirmations. T11 relates to digestion and nutrient absorption. The average American spends about $100 a year to buy vitamins and minerals and supplements. Some complain they're afraid that they may lack these things, but no one considers that they may have a small intestine function problem. If we pay more attention to the absorption system, then we might not need so many vitamins, minerals, and supplements. So T11 is about reinforcing your yang qi and your vital essence through its ability to digest and absorb nutrients and ideas and beliefs. It can also inhibit the flow of the sacral chakra and our ability to absorb and flow through life. So we will be opening that as well. By clearing the stagnant energy in each point and infusing it with life force energy, your body will have what it needs to correct and harmonize any dysfunction that has accumulated over the years. Life happens, whether we choose it or not, and it can have a great impact on how we live our lives or view our lives. We will identify areas where energy is inflamed, stuck, stagnant, and refusing to flow because of old beliefs, dependence, controlling experiences, shame and humiliations, fears, stories, people, lifestyles, attitudes, and demands. We will focus on beliefs that your mind is ready to embrace or release, where it is ready for change, progress, and transformation. Embrace these thoughts. Feel them deep within your body, your mind, and your soul, and allow them into your heart. You are absolutely worthy of every virtue. You are worthy of every life-giving belief. And as you hear these statements and let them into your heart, they will transform you gently, profoundly, and bring greater and higher good in your life. So take a deep breath, and we'll start. Place your hand on your chest, just below your collarbone, touching the two fear points with your thumb and index finger. The spots may be tender, so hold your hand here and you may massage the points if they are tender. Or you can hold your hands in prayer position at your heart space. This is particularly effective if you're holding rare earth magnets with the south pole facing your right hand. Or you may use a piece of quartz crystal, jade, or selenite. Let's take another deep cleansing breath. And in your mind, imagine looking into a mirror and looking into your eyes and talking directly into your soul. In this moment, speak this maxim to yourself with the care and compassion you would give to the most apprehensive of beings. So repeat after me. Take kindness and benevolence as basis. Take frankness and friendliness to heart. Speak with reason. Treat with courtesy. Act with emotion. And accomplish results. Now this time we'll say it one more time, but we will speak it into the thoracic 11 vertebrae and that area, increasing the life force with honest kindness and respect for its importance, place, and function. Take kindness and benevolence as basis. Take frankness and friendliness to heart. Speak with reason, treat with courtesy, act with emotion, and accomplish results. We will breathe after each statement, consciously creating new pathways of response and allowing the energy to freely and lovingly flow. So carefully listen to each statement, and if you can, try to repeat after me in your mind. If you can't, just pay attention and focus on the statement. So take a deep breath and release. I give myself permission to bring up and address the unconscious beliefs that have kept me stuck in patterns of response that bring harm to myself and others. And breathe. I give myself permission to forgive the people and institutions that have influenced my beliefs when they have encouraged distorted ideas, even when they believed it was good. And breathe. I forgive those in my life experience so far who intentionally or unintentionally caused me harm because of their own broken and distorted interpretations of life. And breathe. I forgive myself for my incorrect interpretation of the love and care offered to me by those who truly wanted to show love. And breathe. I ask others to forgive me when I have hurt or caused harm because of my mistaken interpretation of reality. And breathe. I forgive myself for any resistance I have toward embracing all that is good, lovely, and precious. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that miraculous transformation, healing, change, and opportunities only happen after long toiling effort, self-degradation, or that they don't happen for me. And breathe. I embrace all opportunities, gifts, and love that flow to me without hesitation or skepticism, but with thankfulness and gratitudes. And breathe. I give myself permission to surrender and allow for the highest and greatest good to come to me, transform me, and remake me. And breathe. I forgive myself for distorting my alignment with myself, with the great Creator, and with great nature, because I do not know my true self. And breathe. I give myself permission to accept my true self and clear the blockages that keep me distorted in my physical health, my emotional health, my social health, and my spiritual health. And breathe. I give myself permission to take responsibility for whatever comes into my presence with gratitude and calmness. And breathe. I forgive myself for knowingly or unknowingly creating the emotional and physical patterns that block my flow and connection to myself, heaven, earth, or humanity. And breathe. I give myself permission to grow and evolve by giving up the stories of the past so that the universe can write new ones. And breathe. I love and accept myself now as I begin to understand and accept the corrections to any false programming and beliefs I might have received as a child. And breathe. I love and accept myself as I align myself to think and feel in the way the universe thinks and feels, accepting the miracles that flow through me, around me, above me, and below me. And breathe. I love and accept that the universe is highly flexible, and I can be too, because when I am flexible, which is in harmony with the universe, I am open to the infinite possibilities, and then possibilities appear. And breathe. I forgive myself for not seeing myself through the eyes of wonderment. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that if I can't see the good and the beautiful in me, no one else can. And breathe. I forgive myself for hating who I am and doing nothing to help me feel proud of myself. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I cannot trust my feelings or myself. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I have to deny and reject my feelings and emotions. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that my body is a curse and is something to be hated. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing I am not allowed to celebrate who I am. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I have to be perfect before I can feel peace within myself. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that my ideas have to be perfect before I can act on them and make them happen. Breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I must hold on to old pains and traumas, hoping that someone will see them and save me. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I am not worthy of keeping my vital essence. And breathe. I forgive myself for wanting to live in the past instead of enjoying the present moment. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that it is better for me to stay in my comfort zone. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that even though my comfort zone is painful, it's still better to live through that pain. And breathe. I forgive myself for being afraid to assimilate and absorb all the good around me. And breathe. I forgive myself for not expressing my true feelings and hiding them. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I can run away and hide from that which I do not want to accept. And breathe. I forgive myself for being afraid that if my expectations are not met, they never will be. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing I can never get what I most desire. And breathe. I forgive myself for being so afraid of what may happen in the future that I can't assimilate what is actually happening in my life right now. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I cannot be at peace until everything is in order the way I perceive it should be. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that the way I perceive things is the only way and the best way to have peace for everyone. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that if I don't have peace, it is because someone else did not meet my expectations. And breathe. I forgive myself for blocking what I want to say and express. And breathe. I forgive myself for being stingy with what I have been given, even when I worked hard for it. And breathe. I forgive myself for holding on to dead and decaying beliefs and trying to create something sweet and fresh with them. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that if I allow life to flow through me, I may lose something valuable forever. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that if I am in the flow of life, I will lose control and be helpless to do anything about it. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I would rather be in control and obstructed in life than free-flowing and get hurt. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I will cease to exist if I do get hurt. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that it's safer to reject myself before others reject and hurt me. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing and repressing and avoiding my emotions so that I will be safe. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that feeling angry about something makes me a bad person. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that change means denying parts of my being, and therefore I shut down and disown what is happening in my life. And breathe. I forgive myself for being unwilling to face up to the issues. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that where I am right now is deficient. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that I am being interfered with or prevented from doing what I want. And breathe. I forgive myself for allowing myself to be irritated by what I can't control in myself and others. And breathe. I forgive myself for the hostility that comes up in me when others irritate me. And breathe. I forgive myself for allowing old hurt feelings to fester and grow and continually irritate and frustrate me until it grows so much that I can no longer deny it or hide it. And breathe. I forgive myself for hiding irritations until they eventually come to a head and boil over. And breathe. I forgive myself for believing that the only way I can be safe is to hide and suppress my true feelings, and that I am justified when I can no longer suppress them, and I explode. And breathe. I forgive myself for failing to love and respect myself and others. And breathe. I give myself permission to call up and transform, transmute, release, and remove all rejection of wisdom, rejection of self, refusal to know or understand, indecision, resentment and blame, misalignment with life itself, distortions of reality, and denial of my spiritual self for the highest and greatest good of myself and others. And breathe. I now give myself permission to unblock both sides of the Huatojiaji points of T11, opening and activating the flow of chi and information through T11, communicating freely with all parts of my body, mind, and spirit, raising the quality of my thoughts. And breathe. I give myself permission to see the past, present, and future clearly and honestly. And breathe. I give myself permission to take responsibility for every aspect of creating the life that supports me and that I love. And breathe. I give myself permission to gain wisdom through joyfully accepting the experiences of life in all their diversity. And breathe. I give myself permission to release all that keeps me from seeing and hearing the truth. And breathe. Without low self-esteem and rejection of my goodness and beauty, I am free to align my life with my spiritual self and the energies of the universe. And breathe. When I am aligned with truth and love, I am free to create loving and harmonious relationships with all that is around me. And breathe. I am free to see myself as beautiful, lovable, and appreciated. And breathe. I am free to be proud of myself. And breathe. I am free to trust my feelings and myself. And breathe. I am free to experience emotional balance. And breathe. I am free to be comfortable in my body and to embrace and celebrate myself. And breathe. I am free to feel peace within myself and allow my creativity to freely flow. And breathe. I am free to let go of the past and not have it trigger me, so that I may reinforce my yang qi and vital essence. And breathe. I am free to easily assimilate and absorb all that I need to know and release the past with joy. Breathe. I am free to be courageous and at peace with life. And breathe. I am free to receive the new, the fresh, and the vital, and to participate in the flow of life, because I call the shots in my life when it is appropriate, and I let the rest of life take care of itself. And breathe. I am free to expand in every direction and to effect changes all around me and within me. Take a deep breath and release. I am free to believe that divine action for good is always taking place in my life. Take a deep breath and release. I am free to believe only good comes from each experience, because I am free to be accountable for myself and my life. And breathe. I am free to only create joyful experiences in my life and to release the patterns in my consciousness that created the conditions of disease and misalignment. And breathe. I am free and willing to change. And breathe. I am free to love and approve of myself. And when I love and accept myself, I can have faith in where I am right now. And breathe. I am free to surround and fill myself with harmony, peace, love, and joy, surrounding me and dwelling within me, safe and secure at all times. And breathe. I am free to have the power, strength, and knowledge to handle everything in my life, perfectly aligned and supported in all things. And breathe. With the power of my divine consciousness, I now create connection and harmony with all things in myself and in my world in a way that inspires kindness, friendliness, honesty, and goodwill, flowing genuine love and sincere compassion to all that is in my range of influence, and freely offering connection from the brightest place of my heart. Take a long, deep breath and release all that does not align with truth and love. You are now creating new alignments, stronger and more powerful beliefs, letting go of the stories of the past and creating new supportive and harmonious ones to manifest the peace, happiness, and calm that is divinely gifted to you at all times. I leave this thought with you. To come to be what you are not, you must go by a way in which you are not. So to become something new, embrace and assimilate that which is new and different, so you may start making a positive difference in your world. Godspeed.